This is Daniel Holtzclaw, currently serving a 263-year sentence for his crimes. Over a period of 6 months, Holtzclaw targeted victims in one of Oklahoma City's poorest neighborhoods. He believed that the criminal histories of most of them, ranging from drug or prostitution records, would undermine any claims that they might later make against him. He assaulted 13 women in total. But it all came down on the 18th of June 2014, when his last victim stepped up to file a complaint. Jani Ligens was notably the last in the string of sexual assaults and rape by Daniel Holtzclaw. Reporting sexual assault cases is notably one of the hardest, but Jani was determined to do just that. She reported that she was driving down Lincoln Street when Holtzclaw pulled her over and told her she was swerving. She maintained that this was not true, but explained that she had to get out of the car as he had instructed. She claimed that he put a flashlight on her chest and told her to pull her pants down to her knees. She obeyed, but the harassment did not stop. Holtzclaw then pulled out his flashlight and shined it on her privates. At this point, she explained how she began to verbally disagree with him, but this only made things worse. Holtzclaw then forced her into the back of his vehicle. In her reports, Jani did not leave out the fact that he told her, "Damn, you got a big ass." Jani reported that she was scared for her life. Considering he was an officer, she knew he had a gun. She had seen his face, and this gave her the crippling fear that there was nothing that stopped him from taking her life when he was done. Trying to reason with him again, her pleas fell on deaf ears as he ordered her to perform oral sex. She did as she was told, with tears rolling and her heart racing. In her own words, "I kept seeing his gun while he was making me do this right there on the street. I was sitting in the passenger side of the car, and he was standing there. It was so horrifying. It was unreal. I cried and cried. Bear in mind, this is a grandmother of 12 and was 57 years old at the time this crime took place. Sadly, this was just one of 13 separate cases. All 13 victims were African American women of different ages and body builds. One of them was only 17 years old and would later testify that he raped her on her mother's front porch. It is now June 18, 2014. And just like any other day, Daniel Holtzclaw arrived for his afternoon shift. What he did not know is that this time, detectives from the department's sex crimes unit were waiting for him. After receiving the disturbing claim about a sexual assault committed by one of their officers earlier that morning, the investigators were ready and wasted no time placing Daniel in an interrogation room to undergo questioning.
Now, I know you're an officer, and I know you've seen these 1,000 times,
right,
and you've read them yourself.
Right.
You still ask me any questions if you have one.
Right.
Okay, don't be embarrassed of that.
Right.
Okay?
I think I'm already embarrassed.
Why are you embarrassed?
His first concern is the scandal. He knows there will be rumors and that his reputation will be smeared. But as you are about to see, that would be the least of his problems. Daniel Holtzclaw was read his Miranda rights, and you could just tell that he was uncomfortable being on the receiving end of it.
If you decide to make a statement, you may stop the interview at any time. Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
I do.
Just write yes or I do or whatever right there. Oh, you're lefty too. Okay, hold on. You shoot right-handed, but you write left-handed?
Yeah, I'm ambidextrous.
Me too.
So, a little bit.
I shoot right-handed and write left-handed. That's which do you?
Bad right-handed, throw left-handed.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I throw right-handed, but I bat left-handed.
Kick left-footed.
No, I kick right-footed.
You would also observe that the detective makes conscious efforts to bond with him. Considering that Daniel is an officer who has seen how this goes, Daniel may also be confident in his ability to beat what he believes is only a slight inconvenience. The investigator begins to follow the trail. She informs Daniel that somebody made some allegations against an officer, but since the person filing the report couldn't name the officer in question, they are just doing some due diligence questioning. Daniel then admits to making a stop at Northeast 50th and Lincoln.
Tell me about that stop.
I was going westbound on Northeast 50th, probably a block just east of Lincoln. I see a red Grand Prix, or Grand Am, in my right lane, in the outside lane. I'm in the inside lane. The car swerves, and so at the time I'm thinking, okay, it's probably a drunk person, or maybe he got excited because they saw a cop. So I kind of fall behind it, kind of drifting just a little bit, not crossing lane lines, nothing crazy. So I lighted up because at first the traffic violation I saw at first when it swerved. That was just west of Northeast 50th in Lincoln.
Daniel laid emphasis on the driver being drunk and that the car had swerved, but these details were not exactly true. Daniel then explained that when he made contact, he stumbled on a black female. He asked for a license, insurance, and all of that. She gave him an ID but did not have insurance.
Stated that she didn't have insurance, gave me an ID. At the time, I'm like, do you have a valid insurance or a valid license? She said no. I told her, I just got off work. I mean, what's the deal? You know, why are you swerving? And she says, I'm just trying to go home to Ann Arbor-ish on the northwest side to see your daughter or something like that. So I asked, is there anything on board as far as the vehicle? Is it okay if I search your vehicle and whatnot? She said, the only thing that's inside there is a Kool-Aid cup. I'm like, is there anything inside of that Kool-Aid? Is there liquor or anything inside that Kool-Aid? She's no. I'm like, okay, is there anything else inside there? She says there's pills. I'm like, is that the only thing? And then, so I said, can I have permission to search your car? She says yes. I go inside the car, I see a lot of pills. But
what kind of pills?
I didn't really.
Like scattered pills or in a bottle?
She said
pills?
it was hydrocodone pills, but I just quickly looked at it, and I think I saw her name on the prescription bottle, so I didn't.
Oh, so it was a bottle.
Right.
Okay.
There were several bottles in her purse.
Daniel admits that he had her in the back of his car at some point, but he also admitted that there was no incident during that time. The lady was supposedly cooperative and did not give him any problems.
And then you searched, did you run her through Unit 800?
I didn't.
You didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you run her on your MDT?
No, I didn't. All my stuff as far as that, because I didn't even call it in and say it was a traffic stop, my computer was off and everything as well.
Did you shut it off?
I just shut it off,
work?
yeah. On the way, on 50th, I turned it off right before the traffic stop, basically.
At this point, there is a discrepancy. He had claimed that he suspected the female to be drunk, to a small extent, but that still meant she was driving drunk. Considering he didn't think a crime was committed, he probably would not have made her go into the back of his car in the first place. And, of course, he could still have called it into a dispatcher. He had claimed that his computer was shut off after his shift. But still, he could have called it in.
And when you put her in your car, did you pat search her?
When I came around, I was like, lift up your shirt. Is there anything on you? Anything as far as your waistband or anything like that? She said no. And then I put her in the vehicle and went from there.
Did your hands go on her at all?
I backhanded her on as far as the side.
Where on her body? Tell me, you backhanded
her waist, and the back portion. I didn't touch her butt or anything, but the back portion of the waist. And then she lifted it up like right here, and there's nothing.
Did she lift it up like this?
No.
Okay. So she never, like, went, ooh, nothing,
No.
exposed her breasts or anything like that?
She asked me if I was like, no, it's okay.
She asked you?
If you want to search me, I'm like, no, it's okay.
So she never, like, put her hands on the car and you...
No.
As you know, the victim had claimed something different. She had reported that Daniel forced her to lift her shirt and pull down her pants. By claiming that he was conducting a search, he is already trying to counteract whatever claims may have been made against him. He informs the detective that this is the end of it. He claims to have let her go without any incident. As you can imagine, this is the point at which the investigator will start hounding him with questions and counter-statements. She asks Daniel if there was any form of touching that could be perceived to be sexual in nature. Daniel said no. He claimed he was searching for his own safety and that there was nothing sexual about it.
She's saying that you made her lift up her shirt, and when she lifted up her shirt, she exposed her breasts.
No.
Did you ever see
I asked her, is there anything inside your bra? And she said no. So I was like, okay. And she said, you want me to show you? And that's the time I said, no, you don't need to do that.
She said she said she was doing this. When you said, is there anything inside your bra? And she was going, no, I don't have anything like that. Did she do that?
Yeah, she did, but I didn't look or anything like that.
Right.
And then she was like, do you want me to show you? I was like, no.
She said when she said, do you want me to show you? You said, yeah, and she went,
No, I didn't.
but could she have been, woo, flashing you? And now you don't want to tell me because you're afraid you're going to get in trouble?
No, when I told her no, I said no.
Then she didn't go, yeah,
No.
you know, because sometimes drunk girls are,
Having a good time.
and
no.
partying down. And let's face
And
it,
I've already heard stories about officers
people
and
want,
whatnot.
they
so
want
I don't
officers for
I didn't want-
hubbies
so
or
I said
whatever.
no.
And,
I said no.
but you could have said no. But I'm asking you if she flashed you anyways.
I didn't see her. I didn't see her
no
breasts.
boobies?
I didn't see her breasts.
At this point, she is trying to downplay it. By giving him an out that this could have been a drunk lady flashing at him, she is most likely trying to get an incriminating statement from him. As convincing as Daniel sounds, the detectives are still forging on. She requests a DNA swab, and once that is done, another detective joins them in the room. This is most likely to rattle Daniel, or, at the very least, make him uncomfortable. You could say that this marks a more aggressive phase of the interrogation. At this point, Daniel is informed that his accuser has undergone a SANE exam. This stands for Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner, and this exam is typically conducted to collect forensic evidence that determines whether or not an assault has happened.
Well, Daniel, this is kind of one of the things that we kind of bring it in here to see how truthful you are.
Right.
Now, you need to kind of think of a few different things here.
Okay.
Okay. We pulled up a lot of video around that area after these allegations.
Okay.
Okay. She also had a SANE exam, which you know what that consists of.
Right.
There's a reason why we wanted your buckles.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I mean, we can go through a couple different things of why we've got you in here, but you sure there's nothing you want to?
Nothing.
Daniel maintains his cool and insists that no matter the evidence brought to him, he will be sticking with his story. Daniel must have been calling their bluff. He must believe that they don't actually have anything on him and are simply hoping that he slips up. As you are about to see, he is wrong.
So if we go off the video and watch that,
Right.
you're still going to stick with your story.
Yes, sir.
If we go off DNA,
DNA as well.
Should we show you the video?
If yes.
You do want to see it.
Yes.
So there's nothing that
Everything that I recall of that night is what was asked and everything. That's what happened.
Despite the detectives giving him every chance to explain the incident, Daniel sticks by his story of an uneventful police stop. This is when the detectives inform him that someone else has made a similar complaint against him.
Sir, I'm sticking with my story.
okay. On the video, are we gonna see her boobs?
Shouldn't see her. I didn't see her.
Okay. Are we gonna see her pull her pants down?
I didn't see her pull her pants down.
Okay. Are we gonna see your out?
Nope.
Are we gonna see your go in her mouth?
No.
Are we gonna get any DNA to that?
No.
Let's switch up for a second. You had another girl, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You probably not necessarily going to remember the name, but her name is Terry Morris, okay? Black female. Supposedly you promised her a ride to the city rescue mission. This ring a bell?
No.
You did a traffic stop with her. She thought you ran her for warrants. Was it clicking? You drove her around.
Mm-hmm.
No.
The name doesn't. I don't recall a name like that.
But she's claiming the same thing. The exact same thing. And here again, for whatever reason, things are pointing at you again.
Right.
Now this was before even this incident this morning.
Daniel insists that this second incident could not have been about him. He explains that he typically doesn't go to the city rescue mission, so it is unlikely that he would have offered to take someone there. He continues to emphasize this, so much so that he is willing to take a lie detector test. After a lengthy back and forth, Daniel begins to crack. He is informed that the CSI has been processing his car, and as a result, they had just found some pubic hairs inside.
CSI is processing your car right now.
Right.
And when we stepped out, they found some pubic hairs right in here. Could they be yours?
No, that's not. I didn't pull my penis out. I didn't do anything right there.
Did she?
No.
But do you think they could be?
No, it's not. No. Nothing of mine.
Your pubes couldn't be
No.
right there?
No.
Has your penis ever been out by your car?
While I'm working? No.
Not working.
No.
Have you ever had sex in the backseat of your
I
car?
have not.
Because, I mean, some people do. You know, I mean, I'm not saying forced sex, consensual sex.
Right.
So your penis has never been in your backseat.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible any of this DNA shares?
No. It's not. That's. I would like to go at it. Not my DNA.
At some point, he is left alone. The detectives take a moment to call his girlfriend. They attempt to have her corroborate or debunk his story. And unfortunately for Daniel, she does not corroborate his lies.
Listen to go. I just talked to Carrie.
Okay.
She said she was asleep when you got home and you did not try to have sex, and you did not have sex.
I did try to have sex.
She said you didn't. And I asked her, could you have been asleep? And you had kind of, whoa, no. And she said no. You did not try to have sex.
As much as I don't want to involve her, I tried to have sex with her and she was asleep. Carrie goes to sleep pretty early. I'm 9, 10 at the late.
Okay, but she would know if you tried. I'm a woman.
I know.
And my husband comes home in the middle of the night, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been asleep. You said you twirled around her vagina.
I did.
And you put it in a little bit, and then she said, I'm tired. No.
I did.
She would remember that to tell me.
Maybe.
She said you did not try to have sex.
And it's more personal because it's Carrie, but I did try to have sex with Carrie. I did.
Daniel tries to explain, but his excuses fall on deaf ears. From this point, other officers come into the interrogation room. They make sure that he removes his uniform and hands over his badge and radio. Notably, his uniform will also be taken in for evidence. After a dozen more allegations surfaced, Officer Daniel Holtzclaw was arrested and charged with an eventual 36 accounts of sexual abuse offenses, including sexual battery, procuring loot, exhibition, stalking, and forcible oral sodomy. Because the victims were all black women, race became a factor in the case, so much so that the move for an all-white jury was heavily criticized. As soon as his trial began, protesters repeatedly gathered outside. Daniel Holtzclaw was convicted on 18 of 36 counts against him. A month later, he was sentenced to 263 years in prison.
Count 32, rape in the first degree. Defendant is guilty of the crime of rape in the first degree, and punishment is set at 30 years. Count 33, sexual battery. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery, and punishment is set at 8 years. Count 34, sexual battery. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery, and punishment is set at 8.
Holtzclaw's lawyers asked for a new trial, alleging that prosecutors did not disclose newly discovered evidence. Thankfully, the judge swiftly denied the motion for a new trial.